Tired, Harold.
Yeah. Long day.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know that Sydney was in the hospital last week, no?
Yeah, I know. He's home though. He's okay now. He's better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
I know. He called me on Friday,
Yeah.
scared the shit out of me. He sounded terrible.
Oh
But
no.
he says, I'm on the mend. Okay, fine.
He's so sensitive. Any little thing, he gets an infection. He scratched his leg or something, and from the scratch, he ended up in the hospital.
On the steering wheel.
Yeah. Nuts.
How's the weather there? Hot?
Beautiful. It was 85. 85.
Not bad. It was
No,
hot
not
today
bad.
here too.
It was very sunny, but it was overcast this morning in LA, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was warm.
Oh, it was good. Okay.
Well, when I on Tuesdays I have to pull the cars out because the gardener comes and
Oh,
washes the driveway. It was so cold at 6:30 in the morning, but then it was hot.
oh, okay. So where's everybody else tonight?
I don't know. Then Ernie will have to rush through because
Right, starting late because he has 8 o'clock. Right.
yeah, and this one is not a very short blad. Not long, but
Yeah, there's a lot there.
You're doing work in the house, Harold?
Always something. I'm building a tennis court, so
Oh,
it's a long process. They're getting there. Hopefully in a month it'll be done.
so you have a big yard then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You play tennis?
Yeah, I play. The kids play. I don't play very
Ah.
well, but I play.
Yeah, the same as me. I took lessons from when I was 10.
Oh. One of my granddaughters is on the Eula tennis team.
Oh, very
Yeah,
good.
not that she's any good, but at least she plays. So it's a good
That's
sport.
good.
It's a good
Yeah.
sport. It's easy.
You're making it a clay one, right?
No, a regular. The clay ones are very hard to maintain.
No, I mean not grass.
Not grass. No, not grass. No.
Hello, Ernie.
Hi, Ernie.
Hi. We're on Chaf Dalid,
Yes.
Chaf Dalid 24. Kam haya gavoya ula ayin haya noite. How high was the moon? Remember, these are the questions that they asked the Eidim. What direction was it pointed? Tana chadal is foina. If the dark of the moon is pointed to the north, which we said that's the way it should be, because that way it's away from the sun, because the sun is normally in the south. Dvarv kayav lidroma lo amar klum. If the dark of the moon is facing south, it's not acceptable. The Gemara says, "Vatani yibchal lidroma dvarv kayam litzvor lo amar klum." This is the opposite. Like kasha, depends. In the kan be mosachama, kan be mosach shami. In the summertime versus the wintertime, we know, for example, in the summer, the sun traverses across. It comes up in the east, but it's a little bit north, and then it traverses all the way across towards south, and comes across the sky. Then when it sets in the west, it actually traverses and goes north. So it depends. If it's in the sun, it depends on when the moon rises. Then sometimes the pegima will be towards the north. Sometimes it'll be towards the south. Parabonan echad oimer gavoshte mardos. One of the Eidim said it was two saddle lengths above the horizon. If they're one saddle length close to each other, then they do some kayemes. They can be off by one saddle. If one says 3, the other says 5, then we can't accept that. If there's another aid that had showed up there, each one of these aidim could be added to that other single aid to make a complete aidus if they said the same thing. Renew b'mayim, we saw reflection from the water of the moon. Renew ba'ashoshis, we saw it through smoke. Renew be'ovim, we saw it in the clouds. Eimid nalav. So there's too much room for error. We would not accept that. Chetziv b'mayim, chetziv ba'avim. Half of it is in the water, half of it's in the clouds. Chetziv ba'ashoshis. Again, eimid nalav. So the Gemara says, "Hashta kulo amrit lo chetziv meboy." We don't accept when the whole thing was in the water. Why would you accept if half of it's in the water? Elohachi kamer chetziv b'mayim, chetziv b'rakia. If half is in the water and half is in the sky, chetziv ba'avim, chetziv b'rakia. Half of it is in the clouds, half of it is in the sky. Those are also not acceptable. We saw it quickly and then we don't see it anymore. Well, the question is, how long do you have to see it for? Every seeing is like that. Sometimes you see it, sometimes it goes by in the cloud. We saw it on our own accord, but without wanting to look at it. Now we purposefully wanted to look at it. So that teaches us to get there. That if you see it and then you look at it again with intent, and you still can see it, that would be a good edus. My time, because sometimes it's just a wisp of cloud that you think is the moon, and it's not really the moon. Mishnah, Rosh based in Omer. Now, if they have a good testimony of the two Eidim, Rosh based in Omer Mekudish, the Cholamoy Machra Mekudish. And Bein Shanir Bismanu, Bein Shalonir Bismanu, whether they saw it that and they declared the 30th day Rosh Chodesh, that's Bismanu. Bein Shalonir Bismanu, which was they declared the 31st day Rosh Chodesh. Mekachno so. The Bezdin would say Makudish. Reb Lezer Rab Tzadok Omer, Im lo nira bizmano, if it was only seen, Rosh Chodesh was declared for the 31st, Ein Mekachno soy. Shekvar Kitchu Shemayim, we don't need Bezdin. It can only be 29 or 30 days. There's no other choice. And everybody sees it. So there's no need for Bezdin to be Mekadosh at that point. It's only if we Mekadosh it early on day 29 that we need Bezdin to formally say it. And we paskin that way. How do we know that the Rosh Bezdin has to say Mekudesh? Meno Anamili. Omar Rav Chia Bar Gamda, Omar Rav Yossi ben Shol, Omar Rebbe, Omar Kra. Vayidaber Moshe Esmo de Hashem. Moshe was the Rosh Bezdin. Mikan Rosh Bezdin. Omar Mekudesh. The Cholam Moinim Achrav Mekudesh Minolam. How do you know that the people responded by saying it? Mekudesh. Omar Rav Papa. Omar Kra. Asher Tikru Osam. Koribe Atem. We don't read it Osam, we read it Atem. You have to call it out, meaning the people. Rav Nachman Yitzchak Omer, Eila Heim Moadoi, Heim Yoimru Moadoi. They have to declare it my holidays. Why do we have to do double Mekudesh, Trezim Ilamali? Dichsiv Mikra E Kodesh. Mikra is plural. Kriyas, two Kriyas. You have to say Mekudesh. Well, if you didn't see the moon the night of the 29th so that the 30th could be declared the Rosh Chodesh, it means you got to see it then. If we didn't see it all the day 30, and now day 31, then Rabbi Lozer says, Bezdin did not have to be Makadosh. Tanya, Flima Oimer Bizmano, 29-day month, he says the opposite. Bismano ein mekach noisoi, shaloi bisman mekach noisoi. But probably as Rabbi Shimon just the opposite. It says ben kach ein mekach noisoi. It says you don't mekadosh for either day. Shenemar v'kidashtem es shnas hachamishim shonim ata mekadosh v'ata mekadosh chadoshim. We only mekadosh the 50th year of Yovel, but not months. That we only say Mekudesh on a 29-day month. Let's say now everybody sees the moon, and even you've interrogated the Edim, but the day of the 30th, Bezdin never said Mekudesh, and then night comes. Areza Ma'uber, it's now automatically a 30-day month, and Rosh Chodesh will be the next day. Ma'uber in, but Mekudesh lo, which is a right that the Bezdin is not Mekadosh. The Gemara says Ma'uber it's Shechalei. No, we still need the Chiddush for Ma'uber. Since everybody saw it, it's Prisum, and maybe Veloli Abrua, and maybe we should not add an extra day. And maybe since everybody saw it, even though they didn't say Mekudesh, it should be a 29-day month. Kamash Malon, that they, even though everybody saw it, if Bezdin didn't say Mekudesh, we add another day. Mishnah. Rabbi Gamliel had a chart with all the various pictures of what the moon in its various stages looked like. And he would ask the Eidim, does it look like this? Does it look like this? Uvakoisil balioso was hung on a wall. Shebayan Marasayad Yoitos. He would show simple people who didn't really know how to speak properly. He would say, Voimer Kazera Ita or Kazer. How did you see? Now, we learned this Gemara, those of us in the Tzurba, when we learned about, having statues in your house or paintings in your house, we brought this Gemara. We said, Umishari, Vaksiv lo ta'asun iti. Lo tasun kidmut shamosha. You should not create illustrations of those that serve me in the sky, like the sun and the stars and the moon. How could Rabbi Gamliel make this chart? The Torah only answered actually physically building something that looked like the sun or the moon. But writing a picture of it, that's not a isser. Kedetanya. For example, you shouldn't build your house to make it look like the Beis Hamikdash. Or Aksandra patio tabnis ulam, like the ulam. Chatzar keneged azara, shulchan keneged shulchan, menorah keneged menorah. Now those are things that could be built. Aval osa shel chamisha v'shel shisha v'shel shmona. You can build a table as long as it's not the same dimensions as the one in the Beis Hamikdash. V'shel sheva lo yaseh. Even afilu shel sharmine matres, even if made out of other metal, not gold. Rabbi Yosef Bar Yehuda af shel eitz lo yaseh. You shouldn't even make these things out of wood. Kederech she'asu malchei beis Chashmonoi. The Chashmonaim initially built a wooden candelabra. So the Gemara says on Rulo, they said to Rabbi Yossi Misham Rai, there's no Raya. Shpudin shel barzilai, they weren't wood. They were like spits of metal. The chipum bevats. They covered them in like lead. Heshiru, they got wealthier. Asom shel kesef, they covered it in silver. Chazru v'eshir asom shel zav. Later on, they covered it in gold. So the Gemara says, "V'shamoshim she'ef shel asos k'moisem mishori." So he said, you can't build a sun as big as the sun. That's what the Torah meant. But other things you can. The Gemara says, is that permitted? Batanya. Lo tasuniti. Lo tasun kidmus. Shamosh shamasham. Don't make a picture of the stars and the sun. Rabbi Lo Yasotel Demus Arba Ponim Badi Adodi. That my Shamosha is not referring to the sun and the moon. It's referring to the chariot of Hashem, which had a picture of a human being, had a lion, had a cow, had an eagle. So if you can't do the four, well, that seems to imply that you can paint a picture of a human being. Allah Matanya, how come then we learn you can make a face of all animals, but you can't make a human face. Since the human being is made in Selam Elokim, then Hashem said you can't make a picture of me. Does that imply that the sun and the moon you can make pictures? Vatanya lo tasuniti. Lo tasun kidmush shamosha yamasham shelafone b'marim kigon ofanim usrafim v'chayos hakodesh malach hasharis. These are other spiritual things like the wheels and the srafim and the chayos. Amar Abai lo yasoter l'shamshay sheb'modar ha'elyon. The sun and the moon are considered to be in the sky, but they're in the Modar HaTachton. These spiritual things are in the Modar HaElyon. That's what you can't make. Implying that the ones that are in the lower sky, like the sun, moon, and stars, you can make. You cannot make an idol that is in the heaven. Beferish, it says you can't make a picture of a sun, a moon, and the stars and the constellations. And Mimal is the Rabbis Malach Hasharis. So the Gemara says that pasuk is not about making pictures. Ki Tanya hi la'avdam, says to worship them. Hi la'avdam afilu shushul kodnami. Even a little worm you can't worship. So ein chanami, the Tanya sher bo aretz. Don't worship things bo aretz. L'Rabbis harim mugvos. Mountains, yamim unars, oceans and rivers, afiki mugayos, gorges, other geologic things. Mitachas is the rabbi shel kod, like a little worm. Vasiya graded say mishori. So painting a minor player like the sun and the moon Is that permitted? Vatani lo tasun iti. Lo tasun kidmush shamosha misham shilufane kagon chamal uvana kochav nazos. It says don't make a picture of the sun and the moon. So that's the final kasha. Shani Rabbi Gamliel dacherim asulo. Rabbi Gamliel didn't do it. Other people made it for him. Av Rav Yehuda dacherim asulo. Varle Shmuel Rav Yehuda shirinas sameini didain. These Amiroim made it. You have to destroy it because it's also to keep. Somebody might make it, but you're still not allowed to keep it around. So the Gemara says over there, the reason why they didn't want to keep it around is choismoy boileit have it. It wasn't a flat picture. It was a picture where they made the nose sort of come out in relief. And that is some kind of avodah zarah. Umishum chashada. We don't want you to keep some of that in your house because we're going to be choished that you're worshiping avodah zarah. To get a tanya. Let's say you have a tabas or signet ring. If it's sticking out of the ring, you can't leave it. You can sign with it. If it's an indent, because it's not boilate, but you can't make it boilate when you sign with it. So the Gemara answered that the tablet that Rabbi Gamliel made didn't have any features sticking out. Now, first we question this whole issue of chshad if it's sticking out. There was a shul in Arda that collapsed and was rebuilt. There was some kind of statue there. These great Amiroim davened there. There was no chshad there. The Gemara says, Rabim shiny. In a public sphere, it's not a problem. It's only if you have it as a yochid. Frank, the Gemara of Rabbi Gamliel yochid who? Rabbi Gamliel is also a yochid. He shouldn't be allowed to have done it. The Gemara says, Kivin the Nasi who shchichi Rabim gavei. He's the Nasi. So there's always going to be people around him. So it was like a public place. Or Iboy Sema de Prokimav. The other leniency is if it's made like an erector set, that it's assembled and it's permitted. The final answer is L'Islamid Avad. He made this to teach, so people would know this is the right picture, this is not. You can't make an avodah zarah to worship, but if you're going to teach, the Islam made in nasu kedei lilmod kulan mutaras afilo in boltos. Even an item that sticks out from the picture would be permitted as long as it's for educational purposes. Okay, Saul is here. We have 10 minutes to go for the Surah Bashir. Tomorrow we will learn 8 o'clock regular time. If you guys can RSVP so we know if you're...
This Sunday night, right? This Sunday, yeah, I'll be there.
And
I'll be there.
Yes,
I'll be
yes.
and Anna too. Good.
Yes.
Salah,
I'll be there in good spirits.
You guys can't come.
We'll have a drink with you.
Huh?
Spirit.
No, I'll be there in good spirits.
What should we do with your certificate?
Should frame it and put it on your wall.
No, you got to put it on your wall. Okay. See you in 10 minutes.
All right.